Up and until now, we were worried about Strait of Hormuz disruption, what it would do to India, what will be the impact. Then we were worried about Red Sea and the combined effects of these choke points. But we are forgetting it is not just about crude oil, it is not just about trade. These two choke points are not just maritime choke points, these are digital choke points as well. It can take up your petrol prices and pull down the internet connectivity that you have been living on. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we are going to understand the digital aspect of this war, how the digital choke points are going to cost India a lot, why they are important and everything around it. So let us begin with understanding that when we are talking about the undersea cables or the subsea cables, why they are important, and then we will move to understand that why their disruption becomes a problem. So when we are talking about the subsea cables, they are the ones which are responsible for the data flow across the world. These undersea cables are responsible for carrying 95 to 99% of the global data traffic. The red lines you see here are the backbone of not just internet but cloud computing, banking systems and digital services. And when we talk about India, India is connected to this global system through 17 important cables and 14 landing stations. We have two major hubs that is present in Mumbai and also Chennai. So you can see in the given diagram clearly, Mumbai connectivity and Chennai connectivity are the two major hubs. Now, when we are talking about undersea cables, their significance is immense because they are faster and also cheaper as compared to satellites, and at the same time they are the ones which give us a direct connectivity from Arabian Sea to Red Sea and then to Europe, or we can take the route via Persian Gulf. So you can clearly see the connectivity across regions is present here, and that is why they are known as the arteries of global communication. And that is why these subsea cables, undersea cables are known as digital arteries of globalization. Now, when we have understood that why are subsea cables so important for global connectivity, we also have to go back to the point and understand that when we are talking about the present conflict, we have to see that how we are exposed. So when we are talking about India, we have to understand that India is not only dependent on West Asia for crude oil, we are also dependent for the internet connectivity. We are dependent because 60% of our data traffic flows westward. So if India is located here, 60% data is going towards west and 40% is going towards east. The major cable systems that carry the data westward are two: SEA-MEWE and then we have IMEWE. Both of these are major cables which are moving towards west. Now, these two cable systems are moving towards two areas. First moves from Arabian Sea towards Strait of Hormuz and the other one is towards Red Sea. So, Bab-el-Mandeb is one choke point and Strait of Hormuz is the other choke point. And then this connectivity goes towards Europe. Now, that means dependence is not just in terms of physical goods, the dependence is also in terms of digital goods. And we have been yet again geopolitically dependent for this very digital connectivity. And if we want this digital connectivity to go through, we would need there is no disruption or destruction caused at these two major choke points. Now, when we are talking about specifically these two routes, these are important choke points. Let us understand how. Because when we are talking about choke points, we also have to understand that why and what is situated there that makes it so important. So when we are talking about Red Sea, we clearly get to see in this area that 20% of global internet traffic is present and more than 11 global cables are passing through this region. Apart from that, when we are talking about the Strait of Hormuz, Why this is a critical cable channel is because of the fact that this is a very narrow passage. Because it is a narrow passage, there is a lot of overlap of energy routes and also data cables. Movement of vessels also happens from here, and presence of data cables is also here. So, we have seen cable clustering present here. Now, the threat factors which are present without war are also immense. Because if the ship is going through and the anchor can disrupt this, there can be natural factors such as earthquake or plate tectonic movement or any disruption which is naturally caused can affect the sea cables. But to correct that, there is possibility. The ships can go for repair and maintenance. But in a war zone, in a conflict zone, the repair becomes all the more difficult. So, repair is difficult, natural cost factors still exist. Now, add to that the human made factors which are present. The Israel-Iran-US conflict, then we have the Houthi attacks because Iran has vowed that yes, we can block Strait of Hormuz, but Red Sea also remains in the picture. We can block Bab-el-Mandeb as well. I have already completed a detailed video on this. You can go and watch that. Now, that means dense shipping, accidental damage can already be caused. It would be difficult to repair. And if we want to bring the conflict factors, Iran would like to raise the risk so as the countries understand the implication. Even countries can choose to disrupt this connectivity. So, a lot remains at exposure. There is a lot of vulnerability that exists at these choke points. And we have seen these cable cuts previously, be it 2025 Red Sea cable cuts which were placed. India and Middle East saw internet slowdown, be it the 2008 Mediterranean disruption, and then anchor damage incidents have been present multiple times. Now, because of this, there are a lot of impacts that India needs to consider. If at all a cable cut happens, we will see not an immediate all blackout, but definitely slower internet speeds and there will be increased latency. So, when we are talking about latency in relation to Wi-Fi or computers, it is basically the time delay that happens for the data travel from server to the device and vice versa. So, that latency will also further increase. In long term, we will see that we would have to reroute. Initially, we are focusing on these channels, then we would have to focus on these channels and eastward channels. Because if disruption leads to delayed maintenance, and in long term we are going to see huge impacts, especially on the services sector, be it information technology, BPO, the financial market, the digital services, and also cloud services. If weeks of disruption takes place, it is going to cost our economy large and going to hit our growth story really hard. Now, on this note, because we have understood that significance of digital choke points is huge, let us discuss 7 maritime choke points which are also digital choke points. So, when we look at this given map itself, 2 we have already talked about. First, Strait of Hormuz, and second, Bab-el-Mandeb Strait. Can you tell me the connecting water bodies? One side we have Red Sea, then one side here we have Persian Gulf. What is present here? Broader bodies, I'll tell you. Arabian Sea is present here. I will not leave you in suspense. I'll tell you by the end of this video. So, we have 2 important choke points here itself. The third choke point is present here. That is by the name Suez Canal. Now, this is the connecting point between Mediterranean to Red Sea. Again, you can see density of cables and again a very important maritime route through which huge amount of goods from Europe which go towards Eastern Africa and also Asia. If this is not available as it was in earlier time, before Suez Canal, Vasco da Gama also had to take the long route, and this was the only movable because otherwise frozen sea present on the upper side. So, movement was through here. So, we have done 3 choke points. Now, we have Strait of Hormuz, connecting Persian Gulf and Arabian Sea, and Bab-el-Mandeb Strait connecting Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. Then Suez Canal connecting Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea. Now the next one we have Bosphorus Strait, also sometimes known as Turkish Strait. We have Black Sea present here. Now there are two straits present here which are also known by the name Turkish Strait. The first one is Bosphorus Strait, and then we have Dardanelles Strait. Both of them are sometimes referred as Turkish Straits as well, because both of these straits are responsible for connectivity between Mediterranean to Black Sea. Because Black Sea, then we have Marmara Sea that is connected to Bosphorus Strait. Then Marmara Sea is connected to Aegean Sea, which is part of Mediterranean Sea here. That is through Dardanelles Strait. Now we have two important choke points done here. Usually Turkish straits are taken in one only. So 1, 2, 3, 4 we have done. Moving to the next important choke point, that is Panama Canal present here, which provides direct connectivity between Pacific and Atlantic Ocean. Again, you can clearly see that it is important digitally as well, and it also allows the passage of maritime vessels. Now we have covered 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Sixth one is Cape of Good Hope, because the movement from Atlantic towards Indian Ocean, especially Southern Atlantic Ocean and the countries present here, is through Cape of Good Hope, which gives a connectivity between Atlantic and also Indian Ocean. And the last choke point that we are going to discuss right now is present here, that goes by the name Strait of Malacca, which gives broader connectivity to Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. Can you tell me in the comment section which are the two seas which are connected here? Now these are the straits which are not just important for the volume of global trade that passes through, but because of the number of sea cables also present. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.